We have a fireside chat with the man behind Green Gold himself. Yes, I'm talking about Mr. Rajiv Chilaka, who is the founder and managing director of Green Gold Animation Private Limited. I would take the privilege and honor to invite him on stage. Can I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Rajiv on stage for the fireside chat, along with we have Mr. Anil N.M. Vanwari, who is the founder, chairman, and editor-in-chief of AnimationExpress.com.
Okay. What happened to the beard, Rajiv? That looks handsome. Very handsome.
You mean the beard is in the evening, right?
No. Seriously, the beard. What happened to the beard?
I just wanted to do a change. So I had this. This was my lockdown look, and I had it for a couple of years. And I thought, okay, now world is back to normal. Let me get back to my normal. I went to Tirupati, shaved my beard and hair. So this is my new look, and I hope to get back.
And the beard is not coming back.
I don't know. It depends on my wife, whatever she says.
Okay, great. Okay. You're 48 now, right?
Thank you. Yeah.
Right? 48. I'm sorry. I disclosed your age, but your wife will be happy.
Yes.
And your children will be happy that I disclosed your age.
Yes.
It means no roving eyes, no roaming around. Focus. It's been 18 years since you set up Green Gold. I've always wanted to ask you, where did the word Green Gold come from? Is it dollars?
I think I just wanted a colorful name.
Okay.
And it was the first name that I thought about. And I think I want a name that will, sound universal also.
Okay.
Whether you hear it in India or China or US, it should sound universal. And that's what I came up with this name, and I tried to come up with various meanings later, like green stands for money, gold stands for also money. So technically, then I started saying, okay, green stands for environment, which is creativity, means Saraswati, Lakshmi. I tried all those things, but the honest truth is that I think it's just the name that I thought about it first, and I loved it.
Fantastic. So 18 years since you started it. What's your view on animation today versus your view on animation then?
I think my view on animation is that, one, I love it. From when I was a kid to now, I love animation. I think there is some kind of a strange respect for everyone when you do something for kids. I think animation appeals to kids, and kids have innocent hearts and pure souls, and they get attracted to colors and all those things. So something unique about animation, something holy about animation. And so when we talk about animation back then and now, worldwide, I think it's a different view in India. I think right now we have a much stronger domestic animation industry as compared to when we started out. And so I think we are looking at a great future, going ahead. But I think back then we could hardly find a room full of animators. Now I think you can find at least 10,000 animators if you need be. So as Indian animation has come a long way, and so did animation in India.
So, but your views would have been more innocent, purer then on animation. Have they changed a bit?
I think, animation is
because you were a virgin at that stage in terms of animation virgin.
Yeah, I think, I'll say it like this. Animation is kind of a medium to tell stories. So if you look at storytelling, based on your story, you need to choose again kind of animation. So example, there is so many types of animation today, 3D, 2D, and CGI animation has gotten so much complex now, so many with hair, fur, cloth, to simple things. So I think it is all depend. You have to pick your story. Animation is based on your story. So yes, definitely animation has become much more complex today. It's all digital now. So it's fantastic because it's all paperless.
But in your mind, because you came with fresh eyes when you started out, now they're experienced eyes. So how do you view animation from your inner self? Or is it just a business?
No, honestly, I get dreams that I am in Dholakpur actually. I still get those dreams. It's crazy. Like, I see animated characters in my dream. Maybe I'm working too much. I don't know. But my view is, of course, it's the world I live in, personally. It's a beautiful world of kids and innocence and animation and bright colors, and you can paint whatever color you want. You're never growing up. That's even awesome, right? When you don't grow up. In our world, we grow up, sadly.
Yeah, that's why I saw all your, animations were very bright. So you actually see these colors in your mind, do you?
I mean, say, all what we saw is not just, everything is not just something that is created by me. There's shows that were created by partner companies, shows that were created by other creators inside of Green Gold. So everybody has their own viewpoint, and I respect creators. And I always tell people, like, if you want your show to be successful, one, you have to give creator his vision, which very rarely happens in any part of the world. So if you are able to give the creator that vision and give him the armor, I think we'll see beautiful colors, beautiful shows come up to life, more hit shows like what India has seen, some great hit shows. I think that is purely because we're giving the freedom to creators to create that kind of shows.
Yeah. So sometimes they label you as the Disney of India. Comments?
I think I'm personally, I have great respect for Walt Disney, and I'm inspired by him. So I cannot, I mean, it's really an honor if somebody says that to me, like you said in the morning to me, and I take it as an honor. And like Walt Disney is such, I mean, what he has achieved in those times with limited tech, actually no technology available like we have today, what he's achieved with, no financing, no, I mean, probably bank loans were there, but there was no venture capital funds or, investors coming into it. So it was, you're pretty much putting your life on risk to go and achieve something. So great respect to that man, and look at what, I mean, Walt Disney has achieved, the company. Today it's still running on his vision. And like, I mean, his famous statement was, Disneyland will never be completed, because what he meant was innovation is going to happen every time. So I think we are living in that age that India needs to innovate. We need to see more successful stories out of India. And I think Walt Disney has kind of paved everything what possible. We had talks on licensing and merchandising, all those things. Whatever you can think of, he's already done it in those days. So it's crazy. I mean, like, such a visionary. So if you say anything like that, I'll be really honored.
You wear that honor pretty well. Can we have a round of applause for Rajiv right now? And he really deserves that praise, because many other entrepreneurs tried. There was Pentamedia, there was Crest, there were so many other studios, cause Maya had initially, but you kind of cracked it. So how do you keep Green Gold sustaining for so long? I mean, 18 years seems like a long time, or does it not to you?
I mean, it feels like a lifetime already. So I think in terms of being able to sustain the company and stuff, one, I think today's world, you have to be so dynamic, in the sense you have to constantly change your business plan. You have to constantly change your pipeline of, whether it's 2D or 3D pipeline. You have to constantly keep reinventing. Today we have seeing, like, the whatever pipeline we created 3 years ago already looks obsolete, because now we are seeing game engine coming up and doing things that you could not do it earlier. It used to take you 3 months more longer to do a 9-month project than what it is. So it is all about constantly innovating, constantly keeping up with technology, traveling to market like this, meeting the right people, understanding what is the trends in the market, and internationally also, seeing many times we always see that somebody out there in the West or even in the East, somebody has done this brilliant film on certain software, and then we think, wow, this is great. How do we replicate that for the entire series? So we need to, and there's so many, luckily we are in an industry that there's so many people that keep inspire you. I mean, they keep inspiring, and so many of them in this room itself. So we need to keep getting inspired, and obviously stay young in our head, and then getting fresh blood into the company helps, because I've always seen that after a while, there is certain, people get stuck in kind of a zone where they think they cannot do anything beyond this. But I think human potential is unlimited, and I think the youngsters bring that fresh energy. So we try to keep the company young. So our average age in the company is 26 years. So which used to be at one point of time 21 years. So I'm one of the oldest guys in the company. So
your brother's older.
Yeah, thank you.
Srini, sorry about that.
So I think that is one of the key reasons, and of course, this entire industry itself is younger in India at least. So I think we have a long way to go, and I'm not really satisfied with what we have done to be very honest. I think we're barely getting started. And we started with a local vision when we started out, that we had to do something for India, that Indian children will watch content from India. But now we have a global vision, and we want the content. And global vision doesn't mean we want to create something for the Western audience, but we want to create something for an audience which works for India as well as the world. And I think Mighty Little Beam is such an example. And we've been able to do that majorly because we focused on storytelling and basically keeping the basic emotions of a mother and child relationships, and which is universal. You know, there's nothing more beautiful than that. And we stuck to those simple points.
Yeah, so Mighty Little Beam required assistance from a lot of international people to happen, especially on the creative side, if I'm correct. So what has the industry done on that part? Writing, storytelling, what has the industry done on that front, and directing? You know, we don't have that kind of talent which has developed. If you watch Nayana Agrawal's chat with me on 21 rules of writing, what has the industry done in that area, and what has Green Gold done? What has Technicolor done? What has Assemblage done? Where are we? Why don't we have so many great writers in animation and directors?
I personally think there are very good writers. India has very good writers and directors. It is a matter of attracting the right talent to your show. And you know, when it is like something like when you're casting, you know, for a role, you have to find that right actor for your character. Similarly, you have to find the right person for your show. And sometimes you crack it in the beginning, sometimes it takes a long time. And it is, while India is definitely slightly behind the West, but India has come in the last 5 years. You have right now, there is 50 pool of writers that we work with. Earlier it was 2 or 3 writers barely. And all these writers are very brilliant. Only thing, many times they are given already so many guidelines. Ki don't do this, don't do that. And there, this is the character. So their creativity kind of gets limited. But it comes out when you're creating a new show. I think talking about Mighty Little Beam, when we were doing that, the best scripts which were written at our end was an 18-year-old girl who started writing. Now she's 23 or 24, and she's done fabulous job on the show. And she was just innocent in her thoughts and everything, and she was able to write such beautiful stories. She did not have a writing experience. We had to handhold her, but her ideas were brilliant. So how we did that was, we had Western writers from Hollywood help us out, because our goal was, how do you tell a story that is local to India, but how do you make it appealing for the global audiences? And that was a major challenge. And when we tried to do that, we did that hand holding, and we believed in our team internally. A lot of these stories were written internally. And we took the help of these writers to see what is it that what do we have to do differently to make every child in the world appealing it. And it is very small nuances that we actually know it, but we think the West, the first advice we got was, keep it Indian. Don't try to change anything. Don't try to please the Western audiences. So just doing the basic things worked for us, and the show is a super hit. And you know, as we have some crazy data on thing. It's one of the top shows on Netflix. Never ever before that has any show international has done so well on Netflix, and Indian show doing in the top 1 or 2 shows on Netflix for kids and family. That's an amazing achievement, and we feel very proud. We're very proud of our team. But are we satisfied? No. Our next thing is, we want to make an animated movie, maybe of Mighty Little Beam, that'll do a global box office. I heard the 88 Pictures team say $4 billion Shrek did. We probably want to do $4 billion of Mighty Little Beam in 3 to 4 years now, and that'll be an achievement. Till that time, I don't think as India, we have achieved something unless we go to the global box office and have every kid walk in from different parts of the world, come see our movies and clap for our stories. That's when I would think we have truly arrived.
Yeah. So in your opinion, industry is getting a little more, sorry, applause, everyone. I'll speak later. So we've got a lot of associations coming up, a lot of, different states. We don't have a writers union for animation. We don't have directors union for animation. I believe those are important elements we need to put in place within India for you. Do we have a producers union for animation producers?
For films, yes.
But not for animation. So those structures have to come into place. We've got a AVGC task force which is putting in place. Were you also part of that, right? Or yeah.
In Twaga, yeah.
In Twaga, okay.
Telangana. Yeah.
Telangana. So what are we seeing about structuring this? You know, what happened in Hollywood also when these unions came together, they all worked for the benefit of themselves, but on the whole, they work for the benefit for the whole industry as a whole. So those are things are lacking. What can industry do towards that?
I think, see, the reason why we have these small bodies, different state, different bodies, is because the grants that come from the government are in state form. When there is a national level grant, then everyone will unite nationally. And I think that's what we need. And I think that's what Ashish ji, Munjal, these guys are working with Fiki and all to make a national level policy. And I think it is getting very close. It's just a matter of time that we will be able to crack that. And I think it will be a different story. But honestly, believe me, I think creative people are better off when we don't get interfered by the governments or the laws or the unions and stuff. I mean, sometimes it is a benefit, but many times it's a distraction. You know, I'm sure that creative people don't like to attend sessions like this because they think they're better off writing a story somewhere sitting in Goa. But I mean, it's a crazy comparison because how do you help an animator who doesn't want to be helped? He's saying that, okay, I'm good being at home and I'm doing this. Work from home is better for me. So in terms of policies, yes, we need to have a structured win-win, and individuals who are running those bodies have to be thinking, for the good of everyone, not to their own companies, which happens naturally after a period of time. You tend to look at your own interests, but that's what we need, that kind of leaders, and we're lucky to have leaders like that in Ashish ji and Munjal, and they're looking at the global, the Indian, all India benefits of that, and that's amazing thing if we come up with something as good as what you said.
Yeah. So I'd like to see a animation writers union. I know you will not like it. I'd like to see an animation directors union. I'd like to see the technical union being in place because what happens is then, you have better norms of working, the producers to be united. When there's conflict, there's more creativity.
I agree, but luckily there's no conflict today.
Yeah. But remember the Hollywood penned down the writers union. The WGA went on strike. That unleashed a new level of creativity.
Maybe yes. I think necessity is the mother of invention. So when the necessity comes, automatically I think we'll be doing that.
Okay. So people often label you as a one-hit wonder, which is Chhota Bheem. What do you have up your sleeve now? I mean, I saw Leander, something about Leander you've got outside. That's one. And what do you intend to do with Chhota Bheem? He's become mighty little Bheem. Is he going to become mighty big Bheem? Will we see him become an adult? Like you, not like me, I'm still a kid. Will he become an adult like you?
I think to start with, first we are very lucky to have a hit show like Bheem. It is a one-time wonder. I agree, and we are hoping that in our lifetime we're at least able to do that twice or thrice. We're hoping our other shows will become a hit. Currently we're working on 15 new IPs, and I think...
You got me salivating, 15 new IPs.
Yeah, 15 new IPs are in the market and we're pitching and talking to them. And I am most excited about Little Leander. I think Little Leander we saw in Green Gold booth, the poster. Yeah. And it is, when I met Leander at India Joy in 2020, I think, I was totally flabbergasted by his personality, his conviction, I was looking at him and I realized why he became a champion. I think he became a champion because he kept life simple. He knew what he had to do and he worked towards that. He didn't talk bullshit on the streets. He just went and started working hard. And plus on top of that, he had the talent. So having talent is not enough, and you need to work hard with the right attitude. So these are basic lessons that we hear in all management books or all sports psychology facts and all. But now we want to do that in a show. And India is a country where sports are, we are way lagging in sports. Thankfully, we won 24 gold medals in Commonwealth. I felt very good to see India on like number
Absolutely.
6th position. But still, when it goes to the Olympic level, we are doing less. It's not like we are not
No,
capable.
we've got an opportunity in the steeplechase.
Yeah.
That guy ran brilliantly and he came second to the.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we could have won 3, 4 more gold medals. But the point I'm trying to bring here is that as Indians, we take education too seriously. Education is needed. The right education is needed. You know, many times in school they're teaching to pass the exam, you need to memorize the whole book and then you will do very well. But I mean, that's education system that somewhere happened. But if you go back to the roots of Indian actual ancient, that's fantastic. Coming back to Little Leander, I think we're looking at creating a show which will teach right values to the children, as well as encourage children to play sports. Winning and losing a part of life. No, not everyone wins, but it is important that we need to teach that right values to children, and it's important to know how to lose, how to fall in life and rise back and run again. That usually we don't see it in shows, and that is what we're trying to do in Lately, and I'm very excited about that show. And coming back to Chhota Bheem and Mighty Little Bheem, for Mighty Little Bheem, we're very, very excited about the show. We have done 3 seasons with Netflix, 3 specials, and a short film special, which is I Love Taj Mahal. And I wanted to do that because I felt when the West look at India, the world looks at India, the image that comes to the head is Taj Mahal. I thought it'll be great to have Taj Mahal in our show. And then now we are about to do one more season of Mighty Little Bheem, so we're very excited about that. So as Bheem goes, I think we have, example, if you see on Netflix Junior, we have about 6.2 billion views of Mighty Little Bheem on Netflix Junior and Netflix India. And if you just take Netflix Junior, it is 60% of the views are Mighty Little Bheem. So that is crazy number, 60% of
Wow.
data. So I don't know how it is inside of Netflix because they don't release that data. But what it shows that there is scope for us to do so many great shows. Coming back to the Chhota Bheem, will he become a Bada Bheem? At some point, I would love that to happen, but I could not solve the question. I could not solve in my mind the question little children ask me, who will he marry? Uncle, they ask me, uncle, who will Bheem marry when he grows up, Chutki or Indumati? So I think it became a controversy also.
Can have both.
Yeah. So,
You can have both.
I mean, Bheem is not Anil Vanwari. So.
Please. That is below the belt.
I mean, just kidding. Just kidding. But yes, on serious note, just one last thing on Bheem. We are going to make Chhota Bheem in live action. So just like we saw, we are going to remake our own film, Chhota Bheem Curse of Damayan, which we produced and released in 2012. We're going to do it in live action in 2023.
Wow.
So I'm very excited about that. I think it is going to be a new dawn for us in that front in live action. And I'm very excited about that. And one of the reasons I'm here in Bombay is also to start casting for
Can I audition for
Bheem.
Chhota Bheem?
Yeah, there is a requirement for the villain role, so yeah, that works.
Okay. You talked about Chhota Bheem live action. How, with the problem in the theatrical box office, how do you see that rolling out? I mean,
honestly,
and kids movies, Jajantram, Mamantram, they became iconic, they became classics. I don't think they had a great run at the box office, so you're okay with that?
see, I don't have everything figured out, to be honest. I think I like to believe that it is going to work. I think if you put the right efforts, efforts into the script, every department, and come up with a wonderful story for kids and family, I think there is no reason why it wouldn't work. I mean, we are seeing that the box office in India is in general struggling, except for some films.
Excepting for your state,
Yes,
Telugu,
except for
Telangana.
yeah, I mean, some South films are doing fantastic. But let's understand that very clearly, whatever is a good film didn't bomb at the box office. So I think, so if we make a good film, we stand a good chance. Otherwise, we stand no chance.
Okay. Let's look at the streamers now. The streamers have given a new lease on life to a lot of studios, production houses. But you're seeing a a petering off of the streamers. They're actually going downwards. A lot of them. Netflix has lost subscribers. Netflix's valuation is down. Only broadcast-associated OTT platforms are reasonably doing well. So, and there's some kind of doubters who are saying that has streaming reached the end of its great run that it had? And is it only going to be downwards? So what do you see happening to studios, production houses, with Netflix at one stage, which was valued more than Disney, is half of Disney's valuation today. So what do you see happening to all the production community, the creative community, the animation studios? There are cutbacks, etc.
Yeah, I think, let me put it this way. 4 years ago, there was only one streaming platform globally, or 5 years ago maybe, that is Netflix. Today we have so many streaming platforms and they have the same budgets as Netflix. So why should, as creators, why should we worry? Because if it is not Netflix, there is Disney, then there is HBO Max, then there is, in India there is Hotstar also, then there is Sony Live, then there is, in locally also, called Bengali, there is Hoichoi, there is, in Telugu there is Aha. So there are so many platforms. So if Netflix is going down, somebody is going up. So I mean, as creators and content producers, I think we have a reason to celebrate. I mean, you know that now, earlier, the term, the original came from HBO. The HBO original, it started there. And I think Netflix has capitalized on that actually, calling it Netflix original, and kind of had that run. Now HBO Max is out there in the market.
Yeah, but I don't know what Discovery and HBO Max, there's a lack of clarity on how it's going to come out as a product.
As globally, I think they're very strong on content creation.
Yeah, so
I think
Game of Thrones is on Hotstar now, the new series.
Yeah, I'm not contemplating on who's doing better and thing. The goal, what I'm trying to say is that your viewers have increased from 4-5 years ago. There are so many options for us, producers, creators, to go to the networks. So it is a great time for us. Netflix may go down temporarily. It may rise back. We don't know. We have seen crazy things happen in the industry. Yeah. But
yeah, I get that. So now television is still going strong. You've also got a recession potential. There are some noises that we may be entering a recessionary phase. Advertisers are cutting back. There is fast TV, there is free-to-air television. You're dependent on pay TV platforms where there are certain rules which are not yet in place for collecting subscription revenues in India. So how do you see yourself maneuvering through this phase? You said you're excited about pitching 15 IPs. You said you're excited about working on Leander. You said you're excited about creating a live-action film. What advice would you give to studios who probably don't have the strong stomach that you have? You do a lot of planks, I believe. The studio has done a lot of planks and a lot of core strengthening exercises, but a lot of the studios don't have that.
See, I don't know how to answer that, but to be very honest, obviously there is always opportunities out there. Example, when I think 20 years ago there was only, 2000, there was only Cartoon Network. Then came Disney, then came Nickelodeon, and then came so many other kids channels. So 18 kids channel. Now so many networks. Then there is digital platform. Now technically anybody can make their own app, their own OTT platform, and launch it out there. So there is so many ways to do the same thing. And ultimately you need to still have good content. And like somebody earlier said, the right platform is needed, the right distribution or a plan is needed. Otherwise you even have a great show, if you keep it in your house, is of no use. So it's important to go there. Opportunities wise, they're crazy opportunities.
No, I'm talking about what should they do, the smaller studios, especially considering we might be riding into a recession.
I think, see, one, like when there is a negative thing happening, there's also a positive thing happening, and I highlight on the positive. That's where my strength is. So example, like Netflix canceled a lot of shows. A lot of shows that were supposed to go to Canada got cancelled. I know this because a lot of Canadian studios called us and told, sorry, the show we're talking about is not going to happen because Netflix cancelled. So we know all that this cancellation, what they're doing is they're re-looking at budgets. So when they re-look at budgets, instead of a show going from US to a European studio or a Canadian studio and then coming to India. Now it is coming directly to India. So does that benefit an Indian studio? Obviously, yes, because you're directly building a relationship with your direct client, number one. Number two, they know you in and out, and they will more likely to remain loyal to you than through a third party, because when the third party is pissed off with you, then everything goes for a thing. So there's definitely many opportunities out there, and obviously you have to be every day looking at new ways to do business. And today there is again new ways, like struggling startups or whatever. There is edutech, there's opportunities work in that space. There is metaverses, there's opportunities. I got an email this morning, there's very simple animation needed in metaverse world for an US company, very top US company. Would you guys like to do that? But it is very simple animation. So similarly, so when we cannot do, we talk to a partner studio and we give that kind of work to them because it's simple. So there's going to be huge opportunities coming towards India, and we have to be ready for it. We need to stay positive, and we need to stay hopeful and be, ready for the battle.
Okay, I'm going to ask you many questions because Prerna is frankly gesturing time up, but I'll ask you all these questions and I hope you remember them and you can answer all of them. You've not ventured out too much out of Telangana. You did do something with Golden Robot, but it didn't work out very well and you shut shop. But you're primarily based out of Telangana. So why? Then secondly, the proportion of IPs, revenue versus production work within the company, and how will that change? Then your views on co-productions. Then there is, where do you see Green Gold in 2027? International expansion on the floor or not? What about the IPO, long lost IPO?
Okay, so I'll try. I don't think I remember all of them, but I'll try to answer some of them. So first question, we are Hyderabad-based company. Yes, that's where I was born and raised. So that's why I have an office. We have an office in Kolkata. We have partners. Niloy, CEO of Vakitoon, is right there. So we have about 350 people working in Kolkata. Just recently, on 7th of August, we opened an office in Bangalore in SmartWorks, one of Prerna's companies. So 25 people, we have started with 25 people, and we were hoping to expand there. So at some point, we had offices in different parts of India, like Warangal, Mumbai and stuff. But at the moment, this is what it is. Then coming back to, I think, your last question,
IP. No, which is the proportion of IPs versus production work?
So at one point, we were just purely IP company. But today, after the lockdown, when the lockdown came, we realized that we are living hand to mouth. We can't afford just to do IPs or just to do Indian local services. So what we are doing is right now is a mixture of IP for domestic market as well as IP for international market. So we're doing one with Disney, which I forgot to mention earlier. Then services-wise, we're working with domestic players like Nickelodeon, Sony A, and few more. And then internationally also, we're working on about 5 or 6 international service jobs. So we kind of have a mixed bag. Co-productions wise, we're talking to a couple of international clients for 2 deals, and I think sooner or later we'll be there. And
then international expansion, IPO, the long lost one, which I've been talking about with you for the past 6 years.
What I know from my friends in the industry, that people who have gone IPO didn't do very well, at least in India. So I'm definitely not going to look at that before 2027 for sure. But we are going to look at becoming a global company for sure. If you have to go an IPO, rather do it in a much more better place in a stable economy, like today NASDAQ, US, but I don't know tomorrow where that would be. But something in India, I think it is going to be a challenge. Looking at thing.
I'm not saying India. I'm talking about it could be on NASDAQ. What about international expansion? Like Cyber Group has gone and acquired studios everywhere. You have enough cash on your table to go on an acquisition spree and possibly get best practices, skill sets which you don't have from some other international studio which is excelling in something.
I think Toons is great at doing that, buying studios and doing that. I think they've done good success. So, but in our mindset, I don't think we've been great. In that kind of genre. So we're looking at doing in our own way, going slow, step by step. With Mighty Little Beam, we have a global presence now. And I think my next step is to do a global film which can release globally. that will automatically make us known to everybody. Then maybe look at NASDAQ or whatever.
Fantastic. A big round of applause to Rajiv and to his dream of going on to NASDAQ. My dream for you. No, maybe not your dream. It's my dream.
I don't know if we'll qualify for NASDAQ, but I'm just saying that, you know, if you're going to think big, that's what they say, right? So
Absolutely. And you've always thought big while creating small beam.
thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.